Mhm. Hey, hey, hey. Am I live? Is it live or is it Memorex? Am I live? Let's see here. Remember, be gentle, folks. I'm new to streaming on YouTube. I only did it once, long time ago, on my other just regular personal channel that I use just to watch everything. Let's see here. So it's been a few years. Okay. Am I actually live? I thought I had to actually click something to go live here. But there's just the end stream button. I don't think I actually had to click go live. I'm live. Okay. Well, let's see. I at least think I'm going to verify on my tablet here. I keep moving my screens around. I can't remember where I look because I think, oh, it'll be better if I'm looking over here, down here, and then I move. So, not that I rehearsed a lot, but I've spent quite a bit of time setting this up. Let's see here. Do I get a notification? Then I'm, here we go. So, I've subscribed to myself from my other regular channel just so I can see what it looks like. Now I'm going to go, okay. Sorry. Pardon me while I listen to myself. All right. Yep. I'm freaking live. Okay. Okay. I'm going to pause that and silence that. Okay. I've had like an extra like phlegm in my throat here recently. I don't feel bad. I don't feel sick at all. So I'm not sick because I don't eat too many carbs. I gotta say, okay. Oh, first of all, let me introduce myself. This is only my second live stream for this channel. So this is Diet Rebel Scum. Diet Rebel Scum, welcome, and Diet Rebel Scum curious. If you're Diet Rebel Scum curious, meaning you want to maybe rebel against the government recommended food pyramid, I think it's almost like every Western country now is high carb, low fat. Isn't that about what it is? I think that's what it's been for a long time. And at least all I can remember is being told fat's bad. And I believe that all the way up into my 40s, in my 40s I became a lacto-ovo vegetarian. Actually, I was vegan for a year. Really tried. Cheated with cheese a few times and then felt bad. I couldn't really call myself a vegan. So I backed off and said, I am lacto-ovo vegetarian. So, pardon me. I hope I'm not going to be coughing all night. This live stream is, I'm just going to talk freely. I don't really have a plan. I have a few things here pulled up to maybe talk about today. If this is your first time watching me, I am a very low carb dieter. Low carb. I kind of go in and out of carnivore, complete carnivore. If you look in my refrigerator right now, any carbs in that refrigerator is not mine. It's probably the wife's. Okay, so no, not probably. It is. It is the wife's. So, or they still put like, there's these junk carbs in cat food. And I feed the cat, my dear Marcy. She's, not Marcy. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, God rest her soul. Marcy is a black cat we had, died 2020. Linus, that's a boy's name, but I wanted a boy cat, and the cat that adopted us was a girl, and it was a calico, and I named her Linus before I realized calicos are damn near always female, so pardon me. I was trying to do the Peanuts gang. Marcy, Linus, Lucy. We had a dog named Lucy. Okay, so anyway, I feed her ground beef because that's probably a hell of a lot better for a cat than what they put in the crappy cat food these days. But anyway, back to my introduction, Diet Rebel Scum. I said I rebelled against the authorities which feel free to do. Please join us. Please join us in that. And I think still, even though there's so many of us low carbers that have had great success in not only getting rid of ailments and things, which the only ailment I really got rid of was plantar fasciitis. That's what it really did. But I was afraid, as a lacto-vegetarian running marathons like I did, and which required me to eat a hell of a lot of carbs, because what else do you eat when you're avoiding animal products? You eat a bunch of, if you're eating fats, probably seed oils, which I think are very bad. Is my audio way the hell too high? Let me turn that down for a second. Pardon? Talk amongst yourselves. Hang on. Turn my gain down. Because I think I'm getting up cozy in the microphone, and I'm watching my levels, and I can see it bumped up in the red, and I can kind of hear it. So I don't want to be too damn annoying. But I'm going to speak freely tonight. I'm a low carnivore. I went keto at first back in 2000, I believe it's 2017. It's actually been long enough, I'm starting to forget when I actually did it. But I have been low carb, I've been keto, and then I just found myself carnivore. I quit buying the leafy greens several years ago, at least 4 years ago, 5, maybe. When was the last time I went and bought a bunch of freaking leafy greens? Because I was still somehow thinking that you might be required to have fiber. You are not required to have fiber to go to the bathroom. I grew up believing that. My dear old dad helped plant that seed, and he still believes that to this day. God bless him. He's 90. I don't know, has he hit 91 yet? Anyway, he's still going, and he's still believing in the fiber, and I think it's screwing him up. But that's just my opinion, my non-medical expert opinion. Okay, disclaimer here. I'm not a doctor. Therefore, I'm not really paid for my opinion. I make no money. I have a 9 to 5, and I have very few subscribers, and I highly suggest do not subscribe to this channel. My content is all over the place, as you're going to see right now. I am a scatterbrain. I have lots to say, and I have no real plan to say it very nicely. I am just a free flower. That's what I'm trying to do. A lot of my videos that I've uploaded so far for this channel, it's usually I have kind of a subject I want to hit, and I try to stay on that subject, and it's very hard to do because when you're talking about health these days, it's hard to not go off on tangents because there is so much BS out there and BS that is pushed on us. And I don't mean BS from just other people like us, regular people just giving their opinions out there. I'm all for that, by the way. And I want to hear everybody's opinion. I don't care how crappy and everything. But what worries me really bad, is the authority figures that we're supposed to believe are following the science. I am so sick of that phrase or statement, whatever it is. Follow the science. Follow the science. What I really have a big beef with is the science. There is no the science. And even people on our side, people on our side, they mean well. And I think I need to just stay back from the microphone because I hope I'm not bumping in the red. Let me put down my coffee here. Yes, I know that's not carnivore. It's coffee. It's poison. But it's so hard to quit. Okay, but back to what I was saying. The authority. We're told to we're told the authority, and I mean the lab coats, doctors, scientists, and government officials that we think may control the scientists. No, I think the pharmaceutical companies have done a good job at taking over everything. Boy, I'm going right to the controversy and conspiracy, aren't I? I need to turn my level down again. Hang on one second. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I don't want you to go anywhere if you're watching, but don't subscribe because I forbid you to subscribe because this content is crap. Because I'm just going to keep going, and it's going to be random crap. We're just hanging out, right? Okay, this is nighttime where I'm at, and it's just a beautiful evening to me. But hey, good evening wherever you're at. If it's in the middle of the night, good middle of the night to you, and good morning, good afternoon. I mean, it's a big world. And yes, I do believe the world is round. There's a lot of people, the people that like to take us, that are free thinkers and question authority, they try to lump us together with some of the more crazy people that, hey, if you're crazy, I love you too. Okay? I've got nothing against crazy people. God knows I'm probably crazy. But I believe in a globe earth. I do believe in a globe earth. I'm not a flat earther, or as they like to call us, not me. Well, they do just call us flurfers. Okay? I got to admit that's kind of clever. Flurfers. If I was on that side, I'd get a kick out of referring to people as flurfers. Short for flat earthers. It's really that short. Anyway, okay, so what the other side does is they take us that are putting out some interesting information that should be looked at. And I like all the people coming forward that have turned away from the government recommended food pyramid and started eating animal products. They're saying, hey, I don't think red meat causes cancer. I don't think saturated fat causes heart disease. People are like really questioning these things, and they're starting to eat that way. And they're actually turning away from the things that we're told are healthy for us, like wheat, rice, various ground things that we call flour, sugar, refined sugar. All that crap. Okay, so I still eat some of that stuff. I actually have some hippie organic sugar that I put in my latte. This is a organic whole milk that I heated on the stove, and I got some hideous instant coffee in here. I know that's for a coffee snob. That is very bad taboo, but it's okay for me. I used to be a coffee snob. Now I'm trickling my way. I've been trying to quit, so I'm throwing in decaf. So what I am trying to do is uncaffeine addict myself. Like I say, you see why I don't want you to subscribe to this channel. I am on a roll. It's just coming out. It's just coming out because I've got years of this crap to talk about. And I'll just keep going. See, and I don't even have to have. Nobody has to be watching. I don't even need to have people ask me questions. Although if you come into the chat, please say hi. You would be my very first. So this is kind of practice, but I really don't need practice at talking a lot. I am damn good at that. I can just go on a roll, and people have to shut me up in meetings and things like that. So anyway, I think it's a superpower. So where was I? The authority, the science. I follow the science, I think. There's a lot of science that I learned as a kid that has seemingly been just thrown away. For example, part of the life cycle in the environment that I learned about was maybe it was like a textbook in elementary school or something. I think it's like the elementary school science, the life cycle of I'm thinking water cycle. You got water cycle, and then you've got plants. You've got the sun up there feeding plants, rain like falling down to the ground, going down to the ground, animals eating the plants, pooping and peeing. I don't know if all that was in the same picture. Probably not. But this was the cycle of life that we learned, right? Am I right? Okay, I'm 54 years old. And back in the 70s, I think that's what we thought the life cycle was. It's so just picture, and this is another thing that I was told was a damn travesty, and I still believe it to this day, and that is the damn near extinction of the American bison. You know those big, giant cow-like animals with horns, but they're really dark brown, and they're in all the cowboy movies, or almost all the cowboy movies, but I don't know. Anyway, they're in movies, they're on calendars, these big bison. Okay? Do you remember learning in school, in elementary, and then everything after that? For us older folk, am I older? I hate saying that now. I am saying that, but I don't really believe that. I am quite immature, but I know I'm middle-aged. I know academically I know I'm middle-aged, but anyway. So when I say us old folk, I don't really mean it. I'm just saying it because I know it's true, but I don't mean it. Okay, so back to the bison. Do you remember when the Europeans came over? Then there's Native Americans here. A lot of the Native Americans were the Plains Indians. I live in Oklahoma. We are right smack dab. Not only are we Tornado Alley, we are right smack dab in the Plains Indians Alley. I mean, it is like, I think we were in Indian territory at one time. My history is very shaky. So always check what I say. Did I say I'm not a doctor? I think I did that disclaimer. Well, I'm not a historian either, but I have read a lot of history. Watch a lot of documentaries about things, and you can't even believe those anymore. I think they're trying to change history too, because there's an agenda out there, folks. So the environment and the bison. Let me continue. I was taught that when Europeans were moving west, okay, you had fur trappers coming across. You had all the settlers, making land claims because nobody really owns it. There's no like paperwork and deeds or whatever. That's my recollection of the history. It's like nomadic tribes of Native Americans. That they may have had their territory, and fought over it and things with the other tribes over the centuries. That's humans being humans. But like, there were all these bison and the Plains Indians, all these nomadic tribes. That was their food. Okay. That doesn't get talked about much these days. It's like in the vegan world, it was never mentioned. Back when I was a lacto-ovo vegetarian, I actually worshipped. I didn't actually worship God. I didn't actually worship. That was just a figure of speech. I idolized. That's it. I idolized a lot of the raw vegans. The fully raw Christina, Unnatural Vegan. I think these people are still around. Unnatural Vegan was a few months ago. I think I checked in on her, see what she was doing. There's the discount juicer guy that he was pretty cool. I think he's still around. He's doing videos. I don't know if you know who that is. I can't even remember who it is. But I really like the guy. He promoted, he promoted like organic gardening and stuff like that. So he was the reason I bought the juicer that I've got. I've got one of these masticating juicers that goes real slow. I used it to crush frozen bananas to make ice cream, Anyway, but I didn't use one of his codes or order it from him, so I didn't do him any favors. But he would do juicer reviews, and I love the guy. And I think he was really passionate about what he did. He believed in it. I think he still believes in what he's promoting, which is veganism. But what he did promote was getting pesticides out of your food. He believed in organic, pesticide-free, organic gardening and growing your leafy greens yourself and all that stuff. So that's why I love the guy. But anyway, back to the bison. I learned that when the Europeans came across and they started shooting bison, that was a bad thing. You remember that? I remember that. We killed millions of them. I think the estimate, the last I read, was somewhere between 30 million was the low number, up to 60 million. 60 million bison. Can you imagine that? 60 million of these, what do they weigh, like 1,000 pounds or whatever? I don't know. They're big. They're big like a cow. They may not be as fat as cows. They got this small rear end. They're kind of weird. I think they can turn on a dime. I think that's what makes them dangerous. They can run fast and they can turn really sharp, from what I understand. I've never been chased by one, but I've seen some up close. We have them here in Oklahoma. I love going to Wichita Mountains down in southwest Oklahoma. It's a nature preserve, and it's just wild grasses, big or granite mountains. You know, that was not made like the Rocky Mountains. It wasn't tectonic plates coming together and crushing up. It was actually, I read this or saw it on the YouTubes. Somewhere I saw it. It's a lava flow. There was a huge volcano or something just was leaking out. The earth was leaking a lot of hot lava, and it made this big, thick granite layer, and it's all, you know, what do they call it? Metamorphosed rock? I had a geology class once. I thought I was smart then. I think metamorphosed rock is rock that's made by hot lava, as opposed to sedimentary rock, which is a bunch of dead animals in the ocean settling down and making layered. Anyway, back to the bison. You see why I say do not subscribe to this channel. This is the crappiest presentation of information. I'm just speaking freely about why I believe what I believe. But anyway, back to the bison. I was told that was wrong to kill all those bison. And what are we told today is just killing the planet. Cow farts and cow belches. Were the 60, possibly 60, estimated million bison roaming North America? Did those farts and belches kill all the Native Americans off? No. I'm pretty sure I learned, this is in the same history, that a lot of the immigrating Europeans coming across the United States, wasn't the United States back then, but coming across North America here, shoving the compartmentalizing the Native Americans and killing all the bison, which was killing their food, which was actually kind of part of the way to control all the Native American tribes. So I've been kind of told. It sounds logical to me. So if you disagree with all this, that's totally okay. I am not preaching what that my worldview of the politics and stuff, right? I don't care. You believe what you believe. If you got, that's why I love having a YouTube channel, so I can spout all this stuff, because I'm just putting my ideas out there. I totally understand that you're going to beg to differ about things, and that is totally okay. If you want to comment on my videos, by all means. I don't have anything. I think I've got the moderation. Well, I think it's on the default. It's just, I don't know what they don't allow, but I love a good comment section. If you come across this video and you think what I'm saying is absolute BS, let me have it in the comments. I don't mind one bit. Okay? I am too old to be offended. In fact, I don't mind being offended at all. In fact, I don't even know if I can be offended anymore. I've been so red-pilled the last several years with what's happening in the health industry. So like this bison thing. Now, I'm not told, we're never told the bison was killing the planet. Because you know what that would mean? That would mean the Europeans shooting them from trains and shooting them for their hide and leaving the rest of them to rot and making them almost extinct. That would be an environmental blessing, would it not? To the anti-meat eating and environmentalist people. They should praise Europeans for killing all of the bison back then because they were saving the planet. But no, I don't believe that because of the. Now let's go back to the life cycle thing that I seem to have abandoned because I can't keep a straight train of thought. See, I'm going to get better. The more I do this, I'm going to get better at this. So I'm actually, I could be doing a lot worse. So the bison, they were, and they still are. We need them. We need to bring them back because I think what has wrecked the environment is all the growing of plants. In that we're growing a lot of plants in big masses, square miles. I don't know how many thousands of square miles of farms we have growing wheat, soy. What else do we grow? I know wheat and soy, corn, duh. How can I forget corn? I mean, we use it for non-food, which the corn we have now is a good way to get diabetes. But anyway, it's all fluffy. It's all genetically modified in some way or another. It is not the corn the Native Americans ate, which I don't believe they ate all that much corn. People like to think, oh, they're just sitting there carrying around big ass bushels of corn. And when they go out, I think, see, this is another thing. This is about rewriting of history. I wouldn't doubt if what a child, I'd like to see a kid's elementary school textbook now on what are they teaching children. Are they going to try to say the Plains Indians were vegans? Because no way in hell. Farming takes way too much labor. It takes a shit ton of labor. And one thing you don't have, it takes machines too. If you don't have, I think that's why Lear Keith, she is an ex-vegan that wrote a book. What was her book called? I think it's free. I think you can actually get it for free. I got it as a audiobook, and I listened to that book, and she articulates it very well. And it's something that's not preached about. Is like farming, agriculture. When people started moving into cities in our history, that was only really possible when we started farming, started growing crops, growing a whole bunch of, I don't know, rice or the grass seeds or whatever it is, these grains. When humans started doing that, well, now you can stay put. In fact, you have to stay put. If you're going to grow something for a whole season, you have a lot of labor. A lot of human labor has to do it. And this gets dark pretty quick, because when you need that much labor, a lot of labor is going to be forced. So you have, I think in that book, she kind of, she proposes that it's actually I don't know if I'm using the right words, agriculture, farming, whatever, but the growing of the plants, not necessarily livestock. But when you're not going out hunting big giant animals that, how many people can a freaking bison feed? A lot. You go out and hunt one bison, you can feed your whole family quite a few days. Okay, so anyway, but if you're going to grow a whole bunch of some kind of wheat or grass seeds or something you're going to grind up into flour or whatever, you've got to have the territory, and then you have to keep that territory. You're going to have to manipulate that territory. You're going to have to kill everything that grows there natively. That's one thing farms do. When you go and you see rows and rows and rows of like GMO corn, well, that's not the natural native grasses that grew here back when it was just the Native Americans following the big herds of bison. The natural state of the ground, of the earth here, is big animals eating the grasses and whatever else, migrating along, eating the grasses as they go, I don't know what direction they all made. I think the herds moved and they ate the grasses, followed them, followed, I guess, the grasses as they grow, as the seasons turn or whatever, and they pee and poop all along the way. That pee and poop becomes the fertilizer. It's not fossil fuel fertilizer drilled out of the ground from halfway around the world. It's you see what I'm getting at. The natural state of things is actually very easy. Like our food, like the cows that I eat, okay? That cow can totally live its whole life. I'm not saying it does, because I do eat conventional beef. That's, that's part of the bad thing is with our like factory farming that we call it, whatever. But I think for the most part, cows live a natural grass feeding life. They're on ranches, just eating. But towards the end of their life, to fatten them up, they get put on a feedlot, and then they're fed. That's where they're fed the crap that is not their normal diet. That's when they're fed the corn and whatever else to fatten them up. They're no longer eating the natural native grasses, because that doesn't make for a really fat cow. So they want the cow to weigh a lot when it goes to the chopping block. So, but as far as like the cow itself, it is not it's not something completely unnatural that we invented. Are they shot up with drugs? Probably that I wish they weren't. Yeah, probably. I mean, some of them say like antibiotic free. They got there's shenanigans in labeling. So I really don't know what all's true and what's not. What's true and what's not. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. It's like we're told that these large animals, I guess maybe they think do they think that the cows eating the natural native grasses is bad? The belching and farting that they're doing in the fields? Do they think that's hurting us? Or is it the feedlot part that when those farts and belches because they're not eating their right stuff? See, I've heard this crap about Bill Gates wanting to alter cows' bodies to what is it? The gases to come out through a port in their body and go into some kind of bag to keep the gases contained so they don't come out and kill us. I don't want cows treated like that. A cow fart never hurt me. Not that I know of. I don't think I've ever even heard a cow burp. I've walked right up to cows at fences. I don't think I've heard them. Maybe I've seen cows poop. I've seen horses poop. Nobody complains about horses pooping. Okay. Have I rambled enough about that? You see why I say don't subscribe to this channel. How long have I been going? Where is my timer here? 33 minutes. I listen to some live streamers that go for 2 hours. Maybe three hours. Subscribe to a few of them. See, what we can do here is we're exchanging ideas. What we do here is, here's what I'm kind of doing. See, I'm a runner. I run marathons and half marathons. And let's look at this one. Okay, this morning, well, this is not a marathon. This is just my running workout that I did this morning. I have been I'm 54, and I'm trying to relive some glory days. It's like another midlife crisis. I'm in my 5th one. I would like to get back my record. I can't remember what year I did this. Maybe 2013ish or something like that. Maybe somewhere like. I started running marathons. I think in 1999 was when I ran my first full 26.2 mile. That's what a marathon is. People use that word a little too much sometimes. They refer to 5Ks as marathons. So, got to make sure we're on the same page. Anyway, I have run, back in my faster days, 3 hours and 2 minutes marathons. I did that twice at our marathon here in Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon. I've always wanted to break 3 hours. Never did do it. Never did do the speed work that requires and get enough long runs in that requires. I just didn't put in the effort, I don't think, back in my day, in that day. And in that day, I was I ate the standard American diet, which is eat everything in moderation. Don't you just love that saying too? Everything in moderation. I don't like that. I'm being sarcastic. I hate that phrase. Eat everything in moderation. The famous rebuttal that I hear people on our side of the tracks say is like, well, would you like to eat a little bit of cyanide in moderation? You know, how about some battery acid in moderation? Just eat it in moderation. I don't know. I may have screwed that up, but you get the point. It's weird how we in the low carb community, and I can't say, I'd like to say I'm a carnivore, but I'm not a true carnivore. And because I keep eating some carbs, some plant life still makes it in my belly here and there, but I don't go out of my way to buy it for the house. It's always restaurants, almost always restaurants. It wasn't this damn coffee. Okay, this coffee, it makes it into the house. I actually buy that. And I know coffee's a plant. It's probably the most bastardized. I've heard it's like heavily pesticided. That's what I've heard. So that makes me want to quit it even more. But I just can't quit you. It's really hard. It's a cultural thing, which a lot of diet is. And I think that's why a lot of people have a hard time giving up the carbs. That's a whole nother subject. Hopefully I talked enough about the other subjects you kind of get where I'm coming from. Cows are not bad for the environment. Cows eating grass, natural native grasses on the prairies. That's the way the land was not meant to be churned up by plows, blah, 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 blah. Just look at what a farm does to land. That's the most unnatural thing ever. Let a bunch of cows loose to eat the natural native grasses. That's what was here when Europeans came over here. Was millions of examples of that. And that's what I operate on. That's kind of why I eat animals and I don't feel bad about it, is because that's what the Native Americans did. They ate those big beasts that roam the plains. And I'm eating these big fatty beasts that roam the prairies where they're allowed to on ranches. Then they go to the feedlot. I do eat some grass-fed beef. I try to eat stuff that says grass-fed beef, but there's shenanigans in labeling. There's always shenanigans. So it may not be grass finished. It means they ate grass at some point. I know, which they all do. What to believe? We're in an information war, people. You got to question everything, especially from the authorities. You can't trust people. Just because somebody has a lab coat does not mean they're telling you the truth. That is what people are so freaking gullible about in the last few years. You know what I mean? A lot of us low carbers are on the same page when it comes to the rest of human health and Western medicine. I myself, I don't even have a primary care physician. The only doctor I go to is a chiropractor, and I haven't seen her in it's been quite a few months. But or if I have an accident, I do go to a doctor when I cut myself. I was attacked by a dog this past year, just before the last Memorial Marathon, and I got a nice big scar. I had to have stitches. That dog got me really good. He totally was not thrilled with the color of my running shorts that day. I am convinced that's why he attacked me. Gave me very little warning. Anyway. So, I'll go to the doctor for that. Yeah, a big wound, tear me, or my arm. If I break a bone, by all means, I'm going to the hospital. You couldn't be in a better place for trauma than a modern Western country. You can, and I'm going to be biased. I love the United States. I love this country. And I tell you what, if I'm hit by a car riding my bicycle, or hit by a car running, and my legs get crushed, by all means, call 911, get me in an ambulance, and roll my ass onto the ER and patch my ass up. Because I think we do a damn good job at that stuff. When it comes to chronic disease, not so much. When it comes to avoiding colds and flus, no, we go straight to drugs. Do we not? I don't. A lot of us don't. But boy, Western medicine, you go straight to drugs. It's like you talk about just building a healthy immune system naturally by living a clean life and not eating poisons and drinking poisons, and just living a natural, healthy life, eating a proper human diet. It's like you're talking conspiracy theory there. People think you're a freaking kook if you think I don't need to take a drug to avoid getting a cold or flu, any of those respiratory illnesses. When I was a lacto-ovo vegetarian, I got sick with a cold or flu. I never went to the doctor for it because you always get over it. You don't need drugs to get over something that, a stuffy nose, sore throat. I would just go to the local pharmacy, buy over-the-counter crap that unstuffs your nose, whatever. And I would take as little of that as possible. Back in my lacto-ovo vegetarian days, I would get sick once a year, like everybody else. I never took any drugs that is promised to prevent you from getting those sicknesses, because, back in the day, everybody I knew at work, all the people I, see on a regular basis that go and get those drugs to prevent them from getting those illnesses, they always got those freaking illnesses anyway. So I just didn't participate in that. And I got sick just like they did. I was always good, and, I'd get sick one day, or I'd feel it coming on. I think I'm getting sick. And then the next day, those symptoms were a little worse. And then by the third day, yep, undeniable, I'm sick. I would have a sore throat. I'd have runny nose. I'd feel not so good. I would probably stop running at that. If I was running 4 miles a day, I'd probably I wouldn't hit the treadmill, or I wouldn't go outside and do my normal run. I'd just take it easy a couple of days. So I would feel bad a couple of days, and then I'd feel a little better. Then the day after that, I'd feel a little better than I did the day before. And by that other day, it's just like, it's just how the freaking immune system works. And then I go keto. And I was shocked. It actually took a long time before I realized, holy cow, I have not had a cold or flu in freaking years. I remember the day is like everybody was getting sick. This is like 2000, probably by 2019 or so. I mean, it had been like a couple years that I was keto. I was eating bacon, eggs, beef. I was eating a cheap cut of meat. Cause I am cheap. I am not rich, so I would get a cheap cuts of beef and cut it up into steaks, and and I'm not a great cook, but I can cook meat. I wouldn't if you said cook me a steak, some specific rare, medium, medium well, I'm not doing that right. I'm going to mess that up. I just eat it. I eat it however I cook it. I always cook it pretty rare. And then I just eat it. Sometimes it gets a little gets cooked all the way through. I'll eat that too. Doesn't matter. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I went keto and I still ate leafy greens. I just couldn't give that up because I thought I would need it to poo-poo. So I still ate cabbage. I would eat salads in our cafeteria at work. I'd get big salads, put nuts in them, a few nuts. I'd still use the crappy seed oil dressings. But I was still pretty darn low carb because I was still running. And I was, if I ate a few too many carbs that day, I was burning them all off, which we don't actually burn. And I don't calorie count anymore either. But I would, so I was keto. And then one day, I don't know if somebody was talking about how they were feeling crappy and so was sick and whatever in the department next to mine at work, and anyway, somebody's just talking and I was just overhearing it, people talking about their flu they're getting, and then it dawned on me. It's like, I forgot what a sore throat even feels like. I haven't had a stopped up nose in like the last 2 or 3 years. And then I kind of pinpointed it. It's like, I haven't had a cold or a flu or anything like that since I went low carb. When I went keto, I was pretty damn strict that first few months. I was doing the bulletproof coffee and getting the MCT oil, and I was getting plenty of fat. I was actually counting the macros, so I was paying real close attention. There was a lot of days I didn't eat 1 gram of carb, and and back then my first 90 days, I lost weight, and I didn't think I had weight to lose, but yeah, I was pretty strict, and I think, excuse me, I'm pretty sure that, and to this day, it's a pattern. Pardon me. To this day, it's a pattern. I notice when I have quite a few grams of carbs in a day, let's say I have a little bit, and it does happen, and I'm very ashamed of this. Sometimes I will go get some ice cream, and I will have a night of an ice cream binge. Maybe 2 nights in a row, because I would buy enough ice cream. I couldn't eat it all at once. So the next evening I would eat it all, and then I'd be done for, a week or 2 or 3 or 4. And, it varies. So I do this ice cream binge, and it never fails. It never fails. Maybe I'm doing it, I could make this claim. Maybe I should just start making this claim. I'm doing it for science. It's an experiment. My ice cream binges are not because I am weak and I want the damn cappuccino chunky chocolate and the vanilla chunky chocolate and the natural vanilla bean ice creams. It's not because I love those ice creams. I am just willing to eat that very unhealthy, high carb dessert as an experiment to see what harms it causes to the human body. That's how I'm going to sell this for my next ice cream binge. But back to what it does, it never seems to fail. I really noticed a pattern. Anytime I would have an ice cream binge, the next day I would have a little bit, it's like my throat was kind of swelling a little bit. Kind of like how you feel when you think you might be getting a cold or flu. You're like, my throat feels a little strange. Not the sharp, scratchy full-fledged sore throat. It just feels a little swollen. So when you swallow, it's like you feel a little bit of an ache, that's always, I always got that warning whenever I was getting a cold or flu. I would get that for a day. I'd be like, is my throat about to get sore? Because it really wasn't, it's easy to forget about, it's like very mild. And then when I was getting a cold or flu, yeah, the next day it's like, oh, my throat's getting sore. And then the third day it's like that full scratchy, like, ugh, Anyway, I get that, but it's only the warning day feeling that I get every time I eat a bunch of carbs. Specifically the ice cream. I would actually get the next day. I'd be like, "Am I really getting a flu? I haven't had a cold or flu in years." But it never turns out to be that. I just go about my business. I still run. I still do everything normal. And when I'm done with the ice cream, after a day or two after that, the swollen throat thing's gone away. It's just, but it just makes me think that at least with me, back when I ate carbs all the time, the carbs that I eat in an ice cream binge now, when I do that, it pales in comparison to the amount of carbs I ate in a single day back when I was a lacto-ovo-vegetarian. Oh my God. I still haven't done it. I keep saying I'm going to do it. Sit down and try to recall, what did I eat in a day, and in an average day, not even a gluttonous day at all, just the number of grams of carbs I put down this throat in a day back when I was a lacto-ovo-vegetarian. It's obscene. It's obscene. I ate fruit smoothies. I would blend whole apples in with very ripe frozen banana. I mean, when the bananas are sweet. And I would do a blender full, big blender full. And then I was even in the later stages. This is why I think I was becoming a diabetic. I thought, I'm running because I was gassing out when I ran. I was not performing the way I thought I should, and I thought I couldn't eat enough. So I started adding scoops of dextrose. I still have an old bag from many years ago, still in the pantry up there, with a big bag of dextrose sugar, that I was adding scoops of into the pitcher full of fruit smoothie. I mean, it was an obscene amount of carbs. And you know what? I got sick every year back then. I think I was always slightly inflamed. Now, I was pretty fortunate, I still, in those days, I think what kept me from really going downhill health-wise, as like a lot of vegans kind of do, they get too scrawny. Just think things are not ideal, and I was still performing okay. I was still going through my daily life, seemingly not too bad. I did drink way too much coffee back then, and I continued that into my low carb years, and then I finally, in this past year, I've successfully scaled my coffee consumption back, and a couple years I scaled it back, but I was still a coffee addict. I would have a headache if I didn't get it. I still drank, instead of like a pot a day, I was down to like half a pot a day. And now I'm down to about two cups of real coffee a day is a big caffeine day for me, because most of what I drink now is decaf instant. I mix. I'll use a teaspoon of Folgers regular, and then I've got this hippie natural water processed decaf instant also, and I'll add a scoop of that. So it's like half calf. Yep. This latte I made tonight to do this live stream with is actually 1/3 calf. Now it's a larger volume, so I used a 1/3 teaspoon of instant, but it's 1 teaspoon Folgers regular French roast instant, Did I already say the instant? And then 2 of the decaf. And tastes fine to me, you know. Oh yeah, and 2 teaspoons of the hippie sugar, which I believe is that 8 grams of carbs, something like that. But let's go back to this. I was sharing my screen here. This run that I did this morning, this was 9. Let's see, what did it say here? 9.55 miles. Now, I averaged 9:16 per mile. Okay. Now, that was not constant running. I'm trying to get faster. I'm trying to get my old legs to get comfortable moving more in the 7 to 8 minute pace. Like, I would like to average, I'd like to have my cruising speed be 7:30 per mile. For when I just go out and run 4 miles just to maintain shape, not really training for races. That used to be what I ran all the freaking time. 7:30 per mile. That was my conversational pace back in my 30s. 30s and very early 40s. I could get on the treadmill and I could run 7:30 per mile for a freaking hour. No problem at all. Well, I can't seem to do that these days. I did run my last half marathon, which was just maybe November 2nd, something like that. And I averaged 8:07 per mile. I think that's in my activities here. Let me look at that in a minute. But anyway, so I'm trying to get I would like to run my next, if I run a half marathon again here in another month or 2, I would really like it to be in the high 7s, like maybe 7:50 per mile, 7:55 would be really nice. I would love to have a long run in the high 7s per mile. Now, I've been running pretty consistently. This is repeat 1/3 miles. So what I did here, let me go here. You can see my heart rate goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So these are my intervals. I don't have you can see here my recoveries. If I do the recoveries, let's do all. Okay, so I warm up for 7 minutes. And you can see that average pace, 9:53. I can't believe it's that high. Because I'm walking some of that. Oh, I know why. Okay, so I run with some running partners. I run with a couple of, there was a couple of girls that was running. They were running about 9:30, between 9:30 and 10 minutes per mile, probably when we first started out. And I run behind them. So when I'm doing intervals, I walk and I let them get way ahead. And then when it's time, my watch says start running, I run and try to catch them. So it works out pretty good. But my used to be repeat quarter miles. I just started doing repeat 1/3 miles, 0.33s, close. And so I would, by the time I'd catch them, pass them, and then it was, my quarter mile was over, be time to walk, and I walk, they'd pass me, repeat, And so that way I'm running with them, but not right next to them running their pace all the time. I'm running my own thing, but I'm always lurking. I'm lurking around. So I did that with these 1/3 miles this morning. So I could do a 9-mile run, 9-ish, a little over 9. But I get a full recovery. I call it full recovery. I'm walking 90 seconds for recovery. See this minute 30, minute 30, minute 30. So 90-second walk, and then I run, and average pace. Now, one of these I think I messed up because I can't always, in the winter here, and I'm wearing a stocking cap to keep my ears from freezing. I can't quite hear my watch beeping. It gets beep, it's a Garmin. Beep, beep, beep. And then, dee 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 dee, or whatever it does to signal the end of a part of an interval or the beginning of the interval, whatever it is. So I don't even notice, and I keep checking, pull the sleeve back and look at my watch. I'm like, oh crap, I was supposed to be walking 10 seconds ago. So some of these might be a little messed up. Yeah, like this one, this 12:46, I probably ran a little bit of that because I didn't hear, because it's usually more in the 13 to 14 minutes. So, okay, but see these runs. I'm going to go ahead and put it on run. Each of these 0.33 miles, 1/3 of a mile, is at my what I would like to do a half marathon and eventually a full marathon. I used to average 7:40 something. That was a bad marathon for me back in the day. That's when I was ill trained. I would average high sevens. I'd run like a 3:30 something. Yeah, that used to be kind of a piss poor marathon for me back in my faster days. And I'm not bragging. I mean that is not that great of a marathon. I mean that ain't winning no money by any means. You know, the really fast people are in the 2 hour and somethings. You know, I always admired those people. But anyway, so here I'm doing 1/3 miles this morning. Okay, some of this is was pretty hilly. So this is we're running in a bunch of rolling hills. So some of these are uphill. Did I do any? None were in the sixes, but I didn't want to do any in the sixes. When I run quarter miles, some of those I could be running like sub 7 minute for part of them, and it might turn out to be a pretty fast interval. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I was doing this morning. Oh, and then the very end, this was set, I guess, for 15 repeats. Is that right? And then I have a 16 run. God, the headings go away. Distance. 2.7. Oh, yeah, 2.1. Yeah, a little over 2 miles. I averaged 8:51. So that's at the end of all this. So I was pretty beat. Now I did my run yesterday, so this doesn't seem too good. And actually, I didn't feel as good as I should have, and that's because I actually did. I actually did a pretty hard workout just yesterday. So this was 6.42 miles, and this was 1/3 mile repeats also on a hilly course. So a lot of this area is hilly, especially this stretch right here, which I did over and over again because I'm trying to get a local legend on what's called the hill. There's a segment here. If you're familiar with Strava, they have segments, and Strava, you know, you're keeping track of, what am I doing? I keep messing up the map. You can, if you do a segment, a stretch of road that's been recorded and named by somebody in the Strava community, it keeps track every time somebody runs through there, the correct direction, and on that segment, it counts it. You know, if you're a paying subscriber to Strava, which I just recently started paying for it, you can compete in segments. You can either run them faster and be the fastest that's ever run that segment, and it ranks you. It's really neat. It's like having your own little race courses all over the place, and you can race strangers, compare yourself, and see how you rank in different age groups. It's really cool. I really like Strava for that. And but anyway, a nice, easier reward to get, or award, is to be a local legend. So that's running that segment more times than anybody else in the last 90 days. So there's these running tallies on all these segments. And I'm actually a local legend on 2, and I'm wanting to get this 3rd. The other 2 were easy because nobody's running those segments anymore. Somebody did it a couple of times, and it's still on the Strava map of segments. And I was like, oh, I run kind of close to there. I'm going to go do that one a few times. And so now I'm a local legend of the Chartel Hill Horseshoe, and this one right here, this square, that's a mile. That's a 1 mile. It was a mile race that was put on several years ago. And it had a bunch of people in it, but now there's just I don't know, one or two or three people that had run this loop in a 90-day period, and I was like, I only have to do it 3 times, and I become the local legend of that. And now I've got both of those, and then now this one, the hill, this on Chartel, this is uphill for 3 blocks, really steep. It's actually uphill for about 5 blocks. I think that segment starts at 4th Street and goes to 9th Street on the north-south running street called Chartel. That is a very, very steep, the last 3 blocks of it from 6th to 9th is really, really steep. I don't know what percentage of incline it is, but it's enough that it's tough. And it's as steep as you would find in any normal race around here. But it's a good hill to train on. So I need to do that, I think, just 3 more times. I've done it. There's another guy who runs, I think he must live downtown. But anyway, that segment, that 5 block stretch there, that makes the segment, the hill, is on his regular running route. So there's some guy that runs a big, 7 or 6 or 7 mile loop through the city, and that's just a part of it. So every time he runs that, it's another effort in a 90-day stretch. So he runs it often enough. It was like 16 times he runs that in a 90-day period, which that's not running it every day, of course, it's not that bad, but it's made it to where, we run, I run with a group of people, often downtown, but we never run Chartel. We have to go out of our way to go over there. So it's like, that's not something I'm going to run very often. So I have to go out of my way to run those. And that's what I did yesterday. And I ran that stretch multiple times to kind of speed the thing up, because I've been chasing that local legend for a while now, because that's one I really want, because people still run that one. And so it's actually competitive in a way, in a friendly way. It's just running a stretch a number of times. You don't have to run it fast. Hell, I even walked part of it because it was during the rest part of my interval. But then when the interval starts, I have to run it fast. So it's always running on there. My 90-second walk is not long enough to walk the whole thing. So that was never a fortunate, Anyway, don't want to ramble too god-awful much about that. But I am a local legend chaser. But anyway, I did this yesterday, and what was my performance on that? That's why I'm kind of, you can tell I did intervals because of my heart up and down, up and down, up and down. And intervals. Okay, this was repeat third miles also. See the 0.33, 0.33, 0.33. Yeah, average pace 7:12. Let's see, 7:39, 7:30, 7:55. Yeah. Now, that may seem slow if you're a runner in your 50s, but that was hills. A lot of that is running up a pretty steep hill, and it is what it is. But I'm trying to get faster, so that's what I'm doing a lot of these days. And doing them back to back, I don't really know. If you're a runner and there's different philosophies on that. You always say you need to recover from your hard workouts. It's like that. They say that's a big mistake that people are doing, is they're going out all their runs too fast. That's that whole thing about run slow to go fast. That's so damn popular now. I've tried it. I've said it in previous videos. I've been trying to run slow to go fast, and all I do is run slow. I can throw in some speed work, and still, if I'm still going out and running a lot of 9-minute miles and stuff, then I show up to a race, and it's really hard to go any faster than that. I'm still gassing out, which, if this is one of the first times seeing me or any of my content, I've hinted at this before. I say I don't take any drugs to improve my health, but in recent years, there was a thing that happened that in which people were coerced into taking a drug with some threat of, livelihood loss. And anyway, some people reluctantly took it. And I may or may not have been one of those. And knowing that it was a potentially bad thing, I can't say I'm convinced that it didn't negatively affect me, making it where I'm having a really hard time getting any cardio gains. I have really strong evidence that that happened. Of course, I can't prove it, and that's by design. And that's part of why I'm on this mission doing this channel. Because information needs to be free and flowing between people so that we can compare experiences. What are we doing for our health? Compare notes. It's like, hey, is doing this behavior helping or hurting you? And then other people can try that behavior, see if it helps or hurts them, and we can talk about it. But one thing that always needs to be a thing is informed consent. I'm a big believer in it. I believe informed consent was trashed a few years ago. Trashed by the very authority we're supposed to trust. And I'm a bit salty about it. Not gonna shy away from that. A lot of people are salty about it. And I don't want to steer completely clear of controversial subjects, and that is a big one. Drug use. Drug use for health. I don't really believe in it. Yeah, I believe in drug use for an emergency. If you have to be, let's say you have some bad allergic reaction to something and they got some kind of drug they can jab into you that will stop that reaction, to save your life. If your throat's swelling up to a balloon because you got stung by a bee or whatever, that's fine, in an emergency. But just generally, getting a drug for illness you don't even have and may not even be susceptible to, that needs to be a choice. That needs to be a choice without any coercion or penalty. Yeah. So, I'm out of coffee. And it's been quite a while here. I've been jabbering on for an hour and 13 minutes. I'd like to do this again. I'm going to do this again. This has just been free flow and talk. I've thought about this stuff a lot over the years. And I can be wrong about stuff. I could be right. You may be wrong. You may be right. I think there's a famous song about that. Talking Heads or something. I'm going to have to look that up. Anyway, I think I'm done for tonight. Because I'm good at just rambling on. But, like I say, don't subscribe to this channel. This is just ignoramus rambling by a midlife crisis. A guy in midlife crisis. His fifth one. Trying to run fast like I'm trying to get my old glory days back. And I'm low carb while I'm doing this. I'm low carb. I'm letting some trickling carbs in, this damn 2 teaspoons of sugar. But this is all just kind of an experiment. I'm running. I'm going to tell you if I'm doing good, doing bad. And I'd like to tell you through live streams. I'm enjoying this. Yep. So, if you feel free to comment, good, bad, ugly, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Tell me I'm the biggest piece of crap ever. Tell me I ramble way the hell too much. Believe me, I know. I know. All right, I'm going to end this stream. Until next time, be Diet Rebel Scum. Rebel. Just rebel. Feels good to rebel. We'd better rebel. We need to rebel.